Monk mode, one of the single most talked about tools in the self-improvement field. But does it work? And if so, what does it look like for someone who's still in high school? I've done monk mode in the past, as recent as September. Before that, I did one in January, so I can speak a little bit on the results. But recently, I've been in a bit of a developmental rut. So, October was filled with a lot of days where I didn't get much done. And it was mainly due to a schedule that I couldn't control. Or can I? One of the very first questions people ask is, who is monk mode for? The truth is, monk mode is for anyone who wants to get raw enough with themselves and discover why they haven't been achieving high results for all the productive time that they've been putting in. The truth is, I did not have a very productive October. It was almost entirely my fault. It's time to take accountability for my own mistakes and take fault for not using my time efficiently. To start monk mode, you decide the quintessential habits that help you achieve the highest level of output possible. That can range from reading 10 pages a day to spending 10 minutes in meditation, or so on and so forth. If you've heard of monk mode, then you've probably heard of Iman Gadzhi, the poster boy for all the aspiring entrepreneurs like myself. He's known as the originator of his practice, so I would like to show you a short clip from one of his videos where he explained a bit about it, so hopefully you can learn a bit more. Take a look.
Monk mode is a period of immersion. It's a period in which you say to yourself and you signal to the people around you that, listen, I'm locked in, I'm focused. But my monk mode protocol consists of no alcohol or weed, 30 minutes a day of exercise, even if that's just a brisk walk in the park, and 10 minutes a day of meditation. Those three are your non-negotiables. Now, there's a bunch of other protocols out there, for example, like 75 Hard, where it's 5 or 6 different variables, but I wanted to create something where people would have the ones which for me are just a non-negotiable full stop, and then you can add your own variables. So you can add anywhere from 1 to 3 variables on top. Some variables that I've done in the past include praying once a day, doing 45 minutes of phone screen time per day. I've done stuff like adhering to a diet, so I did a strict carnivore diet, and you can really do whatever you want. That's the really amazing thing about monk mode, is that you've got those 3 non-negotiables, but then you've got anywhere from 1 to 3 additional variables that you get to pick and choose, and each monk mode period that I do is different. It shifts, it changes depending on my needs in that season of life.
So, my protocol is made up of 4 non-negotiables, being 10 minutes a day spent in NSDR or meditation, a dedicated time to my Bible every day, an allotted amount in my book, and lastly, to follow my habit flow or my schedule as closely as possible. Mon's protocols aren't very relevant to me, as I can't even legally drink. I have no interest in weed or anything like that. Exercising every day is not something that I struggle with or have to really try for. Since I already have a gym split that I love, and going to the gym, like I said, it's not really a struggle for me. So I'm just going to continue to follow my gym split and go even harder on all of my sets, trying to maximize the benefit I receive from that. And then meditation, I'm already doing. Aside from those, I aim to take 3 cold showers a week, which, again, is something that I don't really have to struggle to do. It's something that helps me focus, it increases blood flow, it increases white blood cell count. It's just all around beneficial, so it's already something that I like to do. So, I am going to be doing 3 cold showers a week. I'll be aiming to journal at least 3 times a week. And again, it's not something that I really struggle to do, but just trying to make it a habit, because these things are just something that I'd like to track. And some other things are, I'd like to enter deep work at least 4 times a week. I have that scheduled out, but yeah, that's a goal of mine. And I'm not going to be listening to any high dopamine intrinsic music or anything like that. It's just going to enable bad behavior or get me into those ruts. So I'm going to be sticking away from that stuff. The other thing that I am going to do with fitness is I'm just going to be adding a day that I go to the gym. So again, just maximizing the benefit that it already provides me. So yeah, those are my additional variables. Not very hard that I have to try at those things, but it's just some extra things that I'd like to keep track of And normally people don't add that many, but I listed them as variables so I can track them, like I said, and the things that I already do. So, just trying to maximize the benefit. So yeah, I think that's everything that needs to be said currently. Doing this to further my agency as much as I possibly can. So without further ado, let's roll. Alright, so it was 5:30, day 3, due to a last minute decision last night. I decided to get up early, and it is voting day in America, so it's a big day today. I'm gonna go hit the gym. Yesterday, I had effects of a dopamine fast come in pretty strong. So normally I don't have much high dopamine activity, but when you really just starve yourself of anything that feeds you cheap dopamine, you really feel the effects. So when a day is gonna be better, I can stay focused. But overall, got a lot of work done, and I'm very happy. Day 3 is going strong. We'll see you later.
So, now is a good time to reference what the title stated. And this is what monk mode looks like for somebody who's still in high school. So, that obviously means that I am in high school. However, you're still getting to see what I do at school. This is because I am a homeschooler. So, this means that I still get to film whilst I complete my schoolwork. Here, I'm getting some math accomplished, which is something I do in the morning, as you're going to see in just a few, because I'm going to give you a detailed overview of what my schedule looks like in Notion. School and my brand is something that is difficult, but not impossible to manage. There are many other entrepreneurs who found success while they were still in high school. I don't mean just started, I mean they found success, i.e. results. And that is always something to keep in mind when you blame your schedule for your inaction. School or no school, I'm getting it done.
So real quick, forgot to mention one little thing. The only thing that I will be doing outside of my normal routine is I'm currently at my youth's annual retreat currently. So all I'm doing here is, spending time with the Word, getting a little reading done. It's very peaceful, very tranquil, good fellowship, not a whole bunch of fun. I'm trying not to just have ridiculous stuff, but yeah, so very focused. And I'm hearing from the Lord and going back strong on Monday. Week 1's done.
Okay, so it is Wednesday of the second week so far. I got back from my retreat on Sunday evening, and that was very good. Didn't have any bad habits that I started or break any good ones, but I definitely need to refocus and get back into the mental framework of copywriting. That was all just different stuff that I was taking wisdom. So now I'm going to take that wisdom and press into copywriting extra hard. So all good stuff. But cheap dopamine, I wanted to talk about that for just a second. Cheap dopamine is very bad. And anything that you know is cheap dopamine, cut it off. I know it hurts for just a second, but you will be better for it. So yesterday I had literally the best school day I've had in a long time. And I equated that to having all of the good dopamine pressed down on. So your dopamine side has 2 levers to it. You've got your pain side and you've got your pleasure side. The pleasure side is the instant gratification that you get from social media and all the other bad things. Pain side is things like cold showers and meditation and all the things that hurt for a second, but they give you the better dopamine over the long run. I'm really pressing down on that pain side because I am reinforcing those good habits so I get the dopamine from doing the good things, and that's how you enter flow state. But anyway, I was going to say with that is last week I had so much cheap dopamine that I was missing because I cut it off, and I really am good about not having cheap dopamine, or so I thought. So by cutting out everything, it made me have to get that dopamine from the hard stuff, because if I didn't, I just could not focus. So the dopamine is the reinforcement chemical. But really just be conscious about what cheap dopamine you're consuming, because it can affect you really badly. Anyway, gonna get back to work now. Looking to repeat today what I did yesterday, so all is well. Let's get back to work. So, the last section of this video is going to be the meatiest part, and that is what it actually looks like for a teen in monk mode. Every day varies to a slight degree, since I have every single day of my week scheduled for a different purpose or focus. This schedule gives me 3 standout days to work on copy and my agency, 1 day for dedicated YouTube and social media work, Sundays for scheduling, and the others are for whatever is taking the highest priority. Now, I took this footage on a Friday towards the end of my monk mode period, which Fridays are normally devoted to copy, but editing this video took priority that day. Most of my days were like this, and every one started with this morning routine. Every day should start the same. Have a routine. However, I'd like to emphasize that your morning routine does not need to be complicated. It just needs to be a space where you can refocus and get your brain and mental space ready for the day. So, all you need for this is to have a couple simple things that you do to start every day undistracted. My personal morning routine consists of making my bed the second my eyes are open, which means that I don't allow myself time to sit and enjoy the warmth of my bed, or have to battle my temptation to check my phone. More on that in a second, by the way. And then, I grab my Bible and read and spend some time undistracted with the Lord in the morning. After those, I do a little bit of thinking about the day's plans, I write out my top priorities on a whiteboard that I have on my desk, and then I spend a couple minutes in my morning journaling routine. That routine starts with 3 notes of gratitude, a detailed example of what would make today great, and then finally, I write a quick affirmation. Not too big on the whole affirmation thing, but I do it because if you give yourself a positive verbal reinforcement about a recent win, it sinks deep within your subconscious to reinforce the ideal self. I've heard this from multiple books and sources that I consider to be reliable, so I've been giving it a try. To the phone thing I mentioned earlier. Many of the people that I, and I assume you too, aspire to be like, have a massive character trait in common. They're ruthlessly conscious with their time. So, the best way to start the day in turn is to be as undistracted as it can be. My rule is to wait roughly an hour to turn on my phone after waking up. So yes, simplicity is key. What you're wanting to accomplish in a morning routine is to 1, establish a routine that gives stability to know what to expect every morning, and to 2, give yourself a space to introspect and get in the right frame of mind for the day. Stay simple.
Okay, so just got done with a little bit of a shower. Morning routine got done a little bit ago. Haven't eaten breakfast yet. It's right before 9, so I'm gonna go do that and get started on our morning discussion time and things of that nature. But I'll run you through the schedule as we go through it. Yeah, morning school subjects are going well, just getting started. So it's looking to be a good day. So, we just got finished with our morning discussions for the day. We'll move into a different work block now, doing some math and a couple other subjects before we have lunch. And I'm gonna change sceneries like I do throughout the day. I try to change atmosphere so I'm not in the same place all day, set the mental framework and that kind of thing. So I'm gonna set you up and let you watch me work. All right? Okay, so we just arrived at the gym. The sun is really bright. It is right around 3:20, so I'm at the gym. I cut my schoolwork a little bit short on Fridays so I can get to the gym earlier, because this time of week I'm just really wanting to be
finish with school and on to my productive stuff. So yeah, gonna go to the gym, then come back, finish up a little bit of school, then work throughout the evening. So we're gonna be hitting legs, and legs have been one of my favorite days to hit throughout my gym career, just because it's one of the easiest to tell if you did it right or if you did it wrong. And the way you tell that is the day after, if you feel it or not. So yeah, we're gonna be hitting legs, and I'm gonna give you a run through of what we actually do in that, show you the workout. So I go to the gym at least 3 times a week during my normal routine. And during monk mode, I go for 4, as I previously mentioned. I've used a push-pull leg split for the majority of my gym career, which is around 2 years. However, recently I switched to trying in arms, chest, and back, legs, corresponding days. Let me know if you care to see more gym content in these videos or walkthroughs of my gym days. I'm warm up with 3+ minutes of cardio, just over. And for this day, I choose a leg-based form of cardio like the Stairmaster, elliptical, or a bike. From there, I go over to the squat rack to start my first warm-up set. Currently, I hit around 15 reps at 135 pounds for the first set. The second is 2 sets of 8 to 10 reps of 175. Then, finally, the working set is 85% of my top weight for 5 reps, and that's currently like 255. I had been stronger in my squat, but I'm trying to get back up to it. So, 4 sets a total on the squat rack. Next, I move on to some walking lunges to continue to engage the quads in a high intensity movement. And those are pretty brutal, so it accomplishes that well. After that, I move on to hamstrings with some seated hamstring curls. For these, I hit them for 3 sets of 152 pounds, in this footage at least, because I'm currently in between being able to weight up on these. I'm just trying to maximize my reps. My focus for these is to be really squeezing my hamstrings as much as possible, and focusing on my toe direction, really attempting to hold the negative as well as I can. Alright, the last half of this workout. Move on to a superset of Bulgarian split squats and Russian deadlifts for 3 sets of 10 reps each. I do 70 pounds on these with a 35-pound dumbbell in each hand. I've heard that you really should focus on your depth and the path of the dumbbell, because this can really make or break your effectiveness. Also, if anyone has any criticisms of my RDLs, please let me know. I just recently started trying them and would really appreciate any advice on the form or anything like that. Lastly, I end this workout with calf raises and more cardio. For the calf raises, I held some dumbbells off screen to weight it, and I did those for 3 sets until failure. Then, I finished up with the Stairmaster to fit the high intensity cardio for around 5 minutes. Okay, so finished up with that. I had a very carb heavy lunch, and as a result of that, I was really trying to burn a lot of it off during that, but I was successful, and now I'm really going to need a big day, so I'm looking forward to that when I get home. Man, I use these things on the daily. I was researching electrolyte supplements a little while back, and Iman's Big Day just happened to be the best ingredients wise. I feel amazing after I have them, so I really recommend getting them if you can. Okay, so I've been home for a couple hours now. That big day that I had earlier was very nice. I had to run some errands for my parents, which that's exactly what I'm trying to show here on these vlogs with the title and stuff like that. Is as a person who's younger doing this, you can't always control your schedule, and the time that you still have remaining is really just your own responsibility. So that's what I'm really trying to show here, is that you can do it, and it is possible. So I got myself some dinner. I had a not what I would call very clean lunch, but yeah, I got myself some Qdoba. So very excited to eat that. I'm gonna watch some like educational entertainment, as I'm trying to frame it, and yeah, having some little bit of a like downtime just to eat and set my mind for a refresh, and then get into some editing and writing and all of the stuff that you were wanting to watch this video for, I would hope. So yeah, I just cut some of the school vlogs short, because who wants to watch that? Alright, I am going to eat, and I'll see you in just a bit. After I ate, I sat down for a 10-minute block meditation, because at this point I was getting into a little mentally tired state and I needed a refresh. This reset allowed me to seamlessly transition to a few hours of editing the video you're currently watching. I got some good time in, however I was kind of aggravated at myself most of the time for not using my time better that day. Felt like I had blocked myself, schedule-wise, poorly, didn't get much high-quality deep work in. However, I still got it done, even making time mistakes as a teenager. Consistency is the goal. Something else I'd like to mention that I use for switching tasks and focus is the use of different scents. So here I had some peppermint oil going in my diffuser. I use that one for editing and copywriting, but sometimes when I'm reading, I use a more relaxed scent for things like that. It's just something nice you can do to set the mood.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up another productive day. Just got a couple hours worth of editing done, and I am ready to go to bed and rest up for tomorrow is another day of grinding. So, we're gonna read and head to bed. That's exactly what we're doing. So, normally I don't get in bed this late, but as you can see on my watch, you may not see that or not, but it is 11:15. So, yeah, a little late, but the night routine consists of doing a recap on the day, reflecting on it, seeing what I could have done better, and that helps for a lot of growth. Ever since I started implementing that, I've noticed a lot of growth. So yeah, that book, phenomenal book, by the way, if you need to scale your offers and how to, make more money off your offers. There you go. It's an excellent book. Love from Rosie. Anyway, yeah, notes, all that kind of stuff. My actual night routine is also like washing my face, brushing my teeth, all that kind of stuff. But this is stuff I'm showing right now. Alright. That wraps up today's events. So, now you know what a day looks like for me in monk mode. Hope you've enjoyed coming along and seeing all that it has to offer. But yeah, for now, I'm gonna actually go to sleep now, so farewell, sweet dreams. So that was what most of my days looked like in monk mode. Upon exiting monk mode, I came to the realization that my next season of life that I'm entering into is just going to be perpetual monk mode. So I don't really need to be giving it any fancy titles or anything like that. I'm going to be going at going at the mission full force, regardless if I'm in monk mode or not. And the real goal here is to enjoy the climb itself. I'm just going after it no matter if I'm in monk mode or not, because it's where I get the fulfillment. Truthfully, I was not looking at it as a tool before, and now I have a better idea and perception of it. And it really was this thing before that I was treating it as, oh, I'm going to go into monk mode, and by doing this, every single bad habit is automatically going to erase, but you still have to put the effort in. You still have to do these things. It's not just going to magically fix all your problems by saying, oh, I'm in monk mode. What monk mode does is it makes you get rid of the bad. So it makes you do that. And before, when I was going into monk mode, I thought, again, by saying I was in monk mode, all of my goals that I had set out to do would be accomplished by the end of monk mode. But I get to the end of monk mode and get into this cycle of aggravation because I didn't get anything done, but I was in monk mode. So how can this be? I, nor anyone else, can do those things that you set out to do in monk mode. You have to work every single day. Monk mode is a means, it is a tool that can help you achieve that. It helps you cut out the bad. What I was doing before is I would go into it, and the second I was out of it, I slipped back into the bad habits that I set into monk mode in the first place to cut out. So you have to frame it correctly. That's like the biggest takeaway here. Alright, if you're thinking about entering into monk mode after watching this video, I have a couple practical things you can challenge yourself with. Number one is, set aside 30 to 45 minutes of thinking of why you haven't accomplished your goal that you needed to accomplish. So for me, recently, that's been
What am I doing to get my business off the ground? What do I need to do to actually start scaling to the point of producing more results? Chances are you know exactly what you need to be doing, but for some stupid, weak reason in the back of your subconscious mind, you haven't pulled the trigger yet. The task here is write down a couple things or the thing that you haven't done that has hindered you, but you just haven't done it. Once you write those down, you're ready for number 2. Number 2 is this. Develop an action plan. How are you going to get there? Alright, some people set goals, but you don't know what you're going to do in order to get there. I recommend to have a focus for every single week so you know exactly what you're going to do this week in order to pull the lever that engages you to further succeed next week, and then you'll be able to go on to week 3 and week 4, and eventually it's the end of the month and you've accomplished all these things at the end of the month that are all in reference to the end goal. So everything corresponds and falls into the other, the next domino, the next domino. Get what I'm saying? Some examples of these are like, I will send out 100 emails this week of outreach, or I will do 100 cold calls this week, or even something as small as I'll read 100 pages in my book this week, or something like that. And you break it down day by day so you know exactly what you need to be doing every minute, every second of every day. That way, by setting your focus on something specific to focus on always, you're going to make it harder to lose than to win. And the final thing, keeping with theme of that, is, and I cannot stress this enough, make a schedule. It doesn't have to be as rigorous or as organized as mine, but have one that you know what you're doing every minute, every second of every day. And honestly, if you don't do this where you know what your goal is and you know what you're supposed to be doing every day, you could screw up monk mode as it is, waste your time entirely, and that really sucks. Trust me, I've been there. So learn from my mistakes. Developing a routine is really what you should strive for. And by setting your focus on something very specific, you're going to make it harder to lose than to win. And that is it. So, I truly hope that I could provide you value. This is the end of the video. Hopefully you took away something and maybe an idea that you'll implement in your own life, but I really appreciate you watching it, especially if you're watching the thing. So until next time, keep after wisdom. See you later.